talking about, guess who? Paul Kocher. So Paul Kocher is an older man. In 1995, he was 22. Now he's 25. He has a lot of experience. He has a four-person consulting team. And what is he all about? He found something. He cracked the smart card digital safe. What did he do? So Paul Kocher. So this is the day in 1998. There was a big push for digital money. And digital money, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about a credit card which has a stored value inside. The stored value card. So instead of dialing, phoning home, instead of phoning home to a central server to validate the number, this card will have, it will be like an electric wallet. It's an e-wallet. So it will have money. You can load it with money in the ATM or online or something like that if you're one of the rich people with a modem. And you can spend money using this card, and everything is done locally. No need to do computations. And this thing is getting a real big push. Visa, Mondex, the company founded at this time to commercialize this. And Kocher is going and saying, "Listen, I can steal all your monies from these cards. They're insecure." How is he doing it? Well, he is taking these cards and he's putting them in a specialized reader which he built. And this reader is measuring the power consumption. And of course, this device is using public key cryptography to do all this. It's not doing Bitcoin, but it's still signing. So what's going on is I am telling this e-wallet, hey, is it okay? Can you pay me $10? And then the e-wallet is checking and saying, oh, you know what? I have a balance of $50, so I can give you $10. And then the e-wallet emits something like a signed transaction that says, here, you are approved to spend $10, and signed below is the smartphone. So this device is a signing oracle. It signs the public key signatures on demand, and public key signatures involve the private key. Public key encryption don't involve the private key, but yeah, of course. So these cards are signing oracles, and he was measuring the power consumption as they were signing, and he was getting all the keys out. And so all these companies obviously are very excited. And here is another piece of news from the New York Times about how excited they are. Look how history repeats itself. So we are well aware of the vulnerability. There are only a handful of people around the world have the expertise to actually apply this type of approach. We don't think there is any reason to slow down. Why are you so angry at us? What, are you kidding? This is just a lab attack, right? This is a lab attack. Nobody's going to do this in practice. Go away. Stop bothering us. Let us make our money in peace. 1998. The only thing that changed, I think, is that the fonts that the New York Times use are different. So, 1998, power analysis. Now, I want to think with you. So it's easy for us as security people to kind of laugh at everybody else and say, you know, they're idiots, they don't understand. It's saying it's a handful of people. He's just a business guy. He doesn't know anything. But let's assume that there are rational people outside the field of computer security. I know it's a crazy thought. Let's assume this is the thing. So why do you think did the 1995 result of Kocher get into the front page of the New York Times, and the 1998 result of Kocher only get into the second page of Supplement D of the New York Times? What is your opinion? So, Hassan, you're saying it's the right thing to say. It's not surprising. Okay. It wasn't the first time. A lab versus real implementation. So here is my understanding of this. Why isn't this in the front page of the New York Times too? And it's obviously not Bibi's fault. Okay, there was also room for a soccer game, so there was also room for this. What do you need to do to mount a timing attack? I showed you a figure. You needed to send the query and measure the time. And you could do that locally, or you could also do that over the internet. Because I think Dan Bonnet didn't release remote public timing attacks were practical. That was 2003. But you could do it remotely. At least you didn't have to be very close to the device under test. What do you need to do to mount a power analysis attack? You need to cut. You need to take the device under test, and you need to take the power cable, and you need to cut it. So that doesn't make sense. You go to your systems architect, you're saying, listen, we got to stop the product. We got to delay the beta. We got to release a new patch. We got to recall all the devices. Because if you cut the power consumption, the power lead, and you put an oscilloscope in the middle, then you can do an incredible attack. And then the system engineers tell you, listen, we are developing the Merkava Mark V tank. So if some guy is inside the power supply and he's going to connect the device, then we have some other defenses against this. Okay, so what generally the feeling is that it's not a reasonable attack model to have this guy cutting your device's power supply. Hold on to that thought, Sadi. Hold on to that thought. So you are supposed to go to the device, get physically close to it, cut it open, and start playing with it, and then doing the measurements. And so it's not a reasonable threat model. So please tell me, when is this a yes reasonable attack model to assume? When is it reasonable to assume that the attacker can go to the device of the test and cut things apart and plug it? Okay, right. So Gil is saying correctly. If the device is at home, I mean, when you're saying he has access, so access. That's a good question about access. So how long do I get the access? What kind of access do I have? Is somebody inspecting the device when I'm doing it? Is there a camera? If the device is, thank you. If the device is in my possession, so the best example is pay TV, payment card, SIM card, DRM, all sorts of time. So basically, when I am the attacker, when I'm the attacker, you want to talk about something else more creative, nuclear fail-safes. You know what the nuclear fail-safe is? I didn't prepare it, but apparently there was a time where the U.S. and Russia agreed to put measurement devices on each other's nukes. So they would make sure, so the Americans would make sure the Russians aren't doing anything with their nukes, and the Americans were making sure that the Russians weren't doing anything with their nukes. Of course, the American device is sitting in Russia, and the Russians aren't really happy about this device. I mean, they're happy that there's peace, but they would be much happier if they could hack this device and get away with it. So this is a reasonable attack model for power analysis. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare anything about nuclear fail-safes. It might be that I really don't want to know what's the situation there, but fine. So there are cases where power analysis is reasonable. So smart card, payment card, and so on. And Sagi was hoping maybe there is already an implementer, and you only need to hack it. So what you're saying, Sagi, is are there remote power analysis attacks? And the answer to that is yes. It's a very exotic kind of attack. I don't see how I'll be able to teach it, but there are ways today of measuring power consumption remotely. And then if you can measure power consumption remotely, suddenly maybe should put this on the front page of New York Times again. But these are power analysis attacks. Not the M. Not the M. Even worse. It's worse. You can do it from the other side of the internet. It's worse. I don't have time to talk about it. If you're curious, you will put it on the forum. Okay. So what are power analysis attacks? And to do that, I'm opening